Oh, that was a short one. You must have did a 10-second one. Hi. Hi, everybody. Surprise. We're on early. 15 seconds early, I think. Can I hear you? We got to check our sound. We were just talking. I can't hear you. Did you say anything? You're muted. You're muted, girlfriend. There she comes. Here she comes.
And we should be live now. Maybe we can get a 5x5.
Oh, yeah, we're live. All right. We were live at 15 seconds in, I think. I think we had the shorter countdown going. I was plugging my plug in. Hi, you guys. Good to see you all
Hey
for his kingdom
guys.
and kicker in the house already. What an honor to see you, ladies.
Shift kicker off for his kingdom. You got the first wrenches.
We got a five,
Ladies,
five, five.
got a
I
five
didn't
by
even get the first wrench. What the heck? Oh, that's great, girls. Congratulations.
I
Sweet.
just went it. Well,
Nice. It's warm
good
here today.
afternoon. What's going on, Miss Cowgirl?
Oh, I feel good. I'm glad to do a show with you. I'm excited. I love our streams. They're so fun. I have a great time. Hi, Rocksteady. We got
Hi,
such
Roxy.
just good momentum going, with everything we're trying to do in our peace and unity movement, and just picking up all kinds of people along the way. And a lot is going on, a lot of exciting things. But I'm excited to see what you've got for us today, especially because, I talk a lot.
Well,
Everyone knows.
listen, the first thing we're going to do is, I know and I hope everybody had a wonderful holiday weekend. But, I've seen you guys have been on a roll down in Humboldt County.
Well,
Why
we're
don't
trying.
you just give
Yeah.
us an update, real
Yeah.
quick on everything that you ladies have been stomping the ground for down there?
Well, we've been doing just our, kind of our, oh, what do we call it? More of a, I hate to call it stepping back, or just, you know, not on the ground as much right now at the council meetings and stuff like that. And I know that can frustrate some of my fellow freedom fighters. But Power Girl and I both feel that the media right now is where we can be more effective. And of course, we believe in the affidavits and the notices, and we want to continue to do that. Part of me, once I'm able to share Mama T's story, maybe we can do a Liberty Lounge too. Hi, Joyful. Good to see you. People will understand. We need more more engagement and more numbers. We have the momentum with a small number, but there's just people are still afraid. People are still quiet. They're still complying. And by now, it's just absolutely ridiculous and inexcusable. And that's about all I can say about it right now, Liberty Cowgirl, because we're just trying everything we can, knocking on this door, knocking on that door, looking over at the freedom fighters of central Wisconsin, looking over what's going on in Colorado, what's going on, here and there. And my biggest freedom fighter, Linda, is under great attack. Her property's been sold by the sheriff on the courthouse steps. And I believe it's a direct attack on her, because just like Mama T experienced from her city council. So we're going to be putting that on blast more and more. We're also wanting to start, and I believe Christina Power Girl is working on this as we speak. And maybe by the end of our show, she can pop on and share a little promo for Brock if she's ready and if we have time. We want to do a crowd fund source for one of our biggest freedom fighters who is taking a huge financial hit. And this is what's happening. You've got people that are in the fight, they're losing everything, and they need us to come around them and highlight their stories, magnify it, spotlight it, get it on blast. And Christina said to me, Liberty Cowgirl is the one we really need to get this to, because she's the one that could do it. You all know Liberty Cowgirl is a force to reckon with. She's not on in all the rooms all the time, but she's definitely got her finger on the pulse and knows what's up, and is a great support for us all in the background, and is always talking to me about how we can help this person and that person and how do we lift them up. And so I just thank you so much for coming along and being that leader of the peace and unity movement. And that's what we got going on here, you guys. That's what this Liberty Cowgirl show is about. And everything we got going is just trying to find uniters that are effective. If that was a good enough answer, I hope.
That was a fantastic answer,
Okay.
and you're right. Hi, Joyful.
Joyful, good to see you, honey.
Well, it's nice to see that everyone's coming together.
Yeah.
We all just want you to know, I know there's thousands of us that are keeping track of what goes down in Humboldt County, and that's in part due to your effort. You're the one who shined the national spotlight on Humboldt County and everything that's going on down there. So we're all looking at that as a template because we're seeing in our own towns. It's
Yeah.
exactly the same
Right.
story, just different location. So it's nice to see it up close and personal. And I think, anyone who's been watching your channel over the course of the last year and a half has seen it all happen. We've been
Yeah.
tracking it for about that long now. And, you know, as I always say, you ladies are just an example of,
Thank you.
great Americans and great women and great people in general, because I know y'all have some men involved in your fight over there
Oh,
too.
yeah. We love the
Uh,
men. Yeah.
how this country is going to take itself back because, those of us who've been looking at this for more than a handful of years, and again, everybody's at a different pace,
Yeah.
knows that what you're doing is exactly where we need to be at and needed
Mhm.
to be at a year and a half ago when you were there. But some people are arriving late to the party. The important thing is that everybody's
Hey,
coming.
fine.
Exactly.
Right. Yeah.
Everybody's coming and
Yeah.
everybody is showing up for their townships
Yes.
to take back this country. And we're going to get to a few updates today. We're going to save our general's report because I don't have it all yet uh, for 2 days from now, I believe. But we've got plenty of news that's piled up over this holiday weekend. And of course, we
Great.
all know that the news cycle is quite slow right now. During this holiday season, so the important thing is that we're really digging down deep because we all know that things are not at a standstill. Um,
Mhm.
and so we've
Right.
been watching and we've come up with a few things on what exactly has been going on during the holidays. I think we talked about on our last report. A lot of people are very discouraged right now. They're not seeing that identifiable uh, perp walk arrest, as we talked about backstage earlier, um, that they want to see. And, I um, said, early on that, that's exactly what the public needs. They need to see somebody that's identifiable. And, there's all kinds of theories out there. Everybody's talking about it. It's all over the internet. I've watched the report as others as to many theories on who that person might be, and we'll go through those. They're saying, you know they're battling each other. We can't forget that going on in the background. You arrest one of ours, we'll arrest one of yours, because half of this is what's really happening. The other half is not what's really happening. But yet the public is watching this, and, you know, uh, we'll call it what it is, this
Mhm.
battle, this war take place. Uh,
Mhm.
this information war, and we really have to place emphasis on that because this is a different type of warfare. When we've been listening to the generals for months now
Yeah.
talk about irregular warfare and how this looks different from our history and from times past.
And didn't we hear about the next one was going to be a CYBER years ago? I did. I
Right.
heard. I heard that was what our next WAR was going to be.
Right. And we've heard that for weeks at a time, with
Mhm.
from all of these very distinguished retired generals, not the generals on the mainstream television. We're not
Right.
talking about those retired generals. Most of those retired generals we're finding are compromised out there. So, you know, they've been telling us all along this is irregular warfare, and I think a lot of people are really starting to grasp on to the meaning of that and all it entails. Information warfare, cyber warfare with cyber attacks on our uh, military and domestic
Mhm.
uh, financial systems,
Yeah,
computer systems,
right.
in addition to our big contest. And we know we can't say the word. We're calling it the big contest again, the big 2020. And then, of course, we have the bio,
Yeah.
one which a lot of people just really, and a lot still can't wrap
Mm.
their head around it. They're going for round two now. Hopefully, most of America is awake now and asking questions and aren't going to run right out and line up and to get their little
Yeah.
inoculation
Don't do it.
uh,
Don't do it.
without doing a little more research
Right.
each
Do
time.
that. Do that. Yeah.
Uh,
Exactly.
and we have to call it what it is. It's a bio warfare
Yeah.
chemical
Right.
that was released on the people. And the generals have been saying this for months. These aren't my
Right.
words. Uh,
Right.
these are the words of very distinguished people that are out there that have an indication on what exactly has occurred here. That's why we zoned in on this military component from the beginning. Because we knew that nobody was talking about this. There's a lot of theories out there to listen to, but who's
Hmm.
in a position to and authority to actually bring about some type of change or actually offer us some legitimate information since we know it's all been compromised coming through Reuters and the
Right.
Associated Press and
Right.
all of those outlets, Circo, whatever you want to call it for the day, uh, where the all of the major networks have uh, get their information to disseminate
The
to the people
Mockingbird
over
media.
a televised box in their living room. Yeah, the talking heads. A lot of people are recognizing that information can't be trusted. And if you listen to the generals this week, that's exactly one of their focuses. I think Cindy was the one who mentioned it earlier today, but she's exactly right. This information warfare is
Right.
absolutely valid, it's
Mhm.
absolutely happening, and it
Yep.
is one of the greatest weapons being launched against the
Oh
American
my.
people right now. But
And
what
it
they
didn't just start the last 2 years, I might add. This has been that whole mind lies, all the web that we're all trapped under, sea of lies, started when the television came out in the 50s. They've been working this whole narrative a long time. This ain't brand new. This ain't brand new, you know. But more people are awake. There's never been a better time to be on the right side of history and of the truth because more people are blowing their whistles, walking away from tyrannical jobs where they're doing harm where they promised they wouldn't. I mean, it's time, you guys. Please stop. They're going to come down hard and heavy with compliance. That's just NWO packaged up. Why be a slave? I'll never be a slave. I'll die on my feet. Thank you very much.
no,
Fighting.
well, what they never expected, and when we talk about they, I think we all know who they are.
Mm-hmm.
By now. If you don't, you need to go back a few videos
Your
or
enemy.
click on anybody's videos on the internet to find
Just
out who
poke
they
around. You just
are.
gotta poke around.
We can't say their names here because we know that censorship is at an all-time high. But my point is, what they didn't count on with that is that the public can take control of the information like they did to actually disseminate it and get it out of there. Hence, we're going back, give kudos where kudos is due. I know it sounds corny, but it's an absolute fact. The digital army of the
Yeah.
American people
Yep.
and them taking control
Geeked up.
of
We're geeked
information.
up.
That's right, via broadcast
Salty
right. Listen to
army.
the other patriot that's broadcasting information right now. Uh, that's what's saving this world and this
Yeah.
land right now.
The
Uh,
truth will set you free. You shall know the truth, and the truth shall set you free. Never been a better time to know the truth and to be free. Amen. I'm gonna be free. All
Amen. So there's just a lot going on in the background, and then of course we've always had all of the when it comes to information, because that's what we're mainly going to be talking about here today, and where different information comes from, because we're at a point where everybody really has to use great discernment.
yeah,
We know that the information uh, uh, from everyday standard patriots, and I, again, another a word that's gotten overused now, but we know it's been infiltrated. Okay, so there's a lot of misinformation and disinformation out there, and even in some cases it's being used as a tactic to actually
yeah,
protect the people in
right.
the same hand. So you really have to be able to discern
Yeah,
information, where it's coming from, who is giving it, and what they have to back it up. We
yeah,
can't be one of these sleeping people any longer that sit in our living room, turn on the televised vision set, and wait for them to say everything that they want to say based upon a predetermined script, have everybody believe that it's true, but the American people have no way to even question them or ask them for their proof. Okay, so I
right,
think that's the
right.
most. I think that's the most. I don't, for lack of a better phrase, but annoying things that I think independent broadcasters are facing right now is the people that are just waking up as soon as you say something that is not in their consciousness, that they haven't accepted yet, they tell you, "Where's the proof?" But
Right,
yet they take in as gold, and for their main source of
right,
information, what's coming on over the television set, but they're
right.
not in a position to ask those people, "Where's your proof?
Mm-hmm.
Who told you that? Where did you get that information
Are
from?"
proven liars, actually. They have a
Exactly.
record of being proven fakers. And Obama, remember, don't forget, also changed the guidelines for media. They are for entertainment purposes only, y'all. They can just make up what they want. They are not obligated to tell you the truth. Nobody is. Nobody is.
That is right, because there's actually, like you said, they changed the law, and I don't have it right in front of me. I think we
I
did
don't
a
either.
past broadcast on it, but
Everybody got that? Everybody got
it
that
does,
hand?
where propaganda is
Yeah,
legal, and
right.
of course
That's
nobody's
right.
paying attention.
Right.
Uh, so they can say whatever they want to say. It's up to the American people right now to actually, and there are millions of independent broadcasters have taken to the airways at this point, and we're just
Yeah.
trying to be consistent with them.
Yeah.
But vet it in two or three different informations, and that's what we do. And I'm going to give you some great examples of that tonight. But let's get to as far as who's prominent right now and where people are getting their information. We can't help but notice that at various points throughout this, and I'm going to call it what it is, this operational phase of this takedown, of an arrest of all of the people who have been involved in the corruption of our country. Throughout the course of this, there have been different people to arise to kind of distract us, so to speak, or that have been introduced to us
Mhm.
as trustworthy sources. And I think, as we gone by, some of the infiltrators in that have fallen out. They proved to be what people have taken in the grifter movement, and so forth. But then we also have people that are thrown out there and suddenly have interviews on every top podcast
Yeah.
influencer who has a viewing audience of 50,000 and above.
Those are the ones I
Suddenly,
don't watch.
right.
Those
So
are the
how
ones
did
I don't trust.
the
Yeah.
question is, how does this come about?
Uh,
How does this happen?
crisis
Did this
actors,
person that
crisis
just
actors in Hollywood, crisis actors in city council and board of supervisors, crisis actors in the police departments and the sheriff. You got crisis actors everywhere, America. When they said you're watching a movie, that's what they meant. They're crisis actors. A
so
lot of
when
them.
we look at some of these big influencer podcasters, I don't call them influencers because I think that's the most ridiculous word I ever heard of to describe broadcast podcasters. You don't influence anybody, nor do I want to influence anybody. I
Right.
don't ever want anyone to call me an
Me neither.
influencer. I don't want to
Yeah,
influence everything. I want you to influence yourself.
yeah. Influence
Okay.
yourself, people.
Right.
Influence yourself.
We're trying to bring you
I like
information
that.
for you to go out and do your own research
Yes.
and influence yourself to make your determination because uh, uh, the weaponization of information is actually a component to what's taking place in this country right now. So we're just doing our
Mhm.
best to combat that. So, yeah, I don't like that word influencer. And I
Me neither.
actually feel silly calling people that.
Yes.
I just think it's the most silliest label. Again,
Can
down to
imagine calling
haters.
myself that on camera, on a live either. Like, yes, my name is Deanna and I'm an influencer. I just
No.
couldn't. I'm sorry, I
So
could never say that, but you know.
so the point is, how did some of these influencers become influencers?
I
Okay.
don't know.
And my guess is it's a coordinated effort behind the scenes. So
Yeah,
where am I
no doubt.
going with this? Okay.
Hmm.
They say, and if you look at the uh, art of war by Sun Tzu and those types of readings and so forth, you'll come to, and some of the biggest opponents that are out there that are actually responsible for what's happening to us right now said it themselves in several speeches. The best way to oppose opposition and to combat opposition and to protect yourself about from opposition is to control it yourself.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So they've got
Infiltration.
actors on my point is they've got
It
actors
is.
on both sides, people. Be very
That's right.
careful who you're listening to, where the
Yes.
information is coming from. And if you want people to start proving anything, start with the mainstream media. Start
Yeah,
asking
really.
them first
For
where they're
real.
getting their information and how do we know that's true?
Good idea.
Because we know most of the pictures that
Yeah.
they're showing us now are CGI put together. I mean, maybe we need to just put it in lay terms for people instead of using, such fancy terms and saying they're copying and pasting these images together, and putting them out there. And they've got voice enhancers. And, there's even apps where you record in one voice, but you can play it out in a completely different voice. People need to start learning this. Hollyweird is Hollyweird for a reason. It's make believe. Okay.
Right.
It's
Right.
theater. And a lot of that is part of this, circling back to the core point, is part of this information warfare
Yes.
uh, that's out there in
Um,
the public right now.
straight up.
But,
Yeah.
on to more serious matters, we're watching what SG says, and we know, he called himself if I were to tell this gentleman anything, and again, we're going to talk about it because everyone is talking about it. So I don't want people to think we're not in the know. But he called himself SG Anon. Well, to me, you set yourself right up there for all of the haters to go out and now try and prove what your identity is right out of the
Mm-hmm.
gate. So I'm just going to refer to him as SG. When we started reporting on him, I said we're going to look at it as another person's analysis of
Mm-hmm.
the situation that's happening. And, a lot of what he's saying, I just think makes a lot of sense on the
Mm-hmm.
whole. And what he does, it's not that he has any inside information, which, he does have what he calls a mentor, I think, or something like that. Everybody's got a mentor or somebody
Mm-hmm.
trustworthy
Yeah.
that they speak to. When you start listening to him, he's just a normal guy, and that's what he's saying he
Yeah.
is.
I've listened to him a
So,
couple times.
um,
Yes.
you know, um, Obviously, retired military people or people who have worked inside of the system have good analysis because they know the operating procedures of what they see happening in front of them. And from that, they're able to gain a more broader perspective than any of us civilians, so to speak,
Right.
and non-military people can. So I appreciate their views and their analysis. And of
Yeah.
course, he's saying that, of course, military is positioning all over the Pacific Rim, and there's three other countries involved in doing that. Governments are being told to stand down because they're still out there rescuing children. And of course, if I ever have to come back and apologize for saying that, I will. But I will always say that because I think that's the main reason why a lot of people decided to get onto this information battlefield is because of the children.
Let me
And
back up something for you. Let me give a backup for you. Look up Institute for Justice Mission, or look up If Gathering and find uh, their video. They were in 2016 talking about it. It is verifiable. It's a commodity. Human beings and our blood are another commodity, just like weapons, gold, money, drugs, and anything else. And we're actually the hottest shit on the market, in case you didn't know. That's the truth.
right. And they're still rescuing some children, but
Mhm.
specifically in that region of the world. We
Right.
know what's been happening here domestically in the United States, and of
Right.
all of these underground systems and all the human trafficking that's been taking place from California all across the country. They have a tunnel system, and I can't even imagine why anybody at this juncture would not have looked into that for themselves to determine that it is in fact ongoing operations. It goes hand in hand with
Yeah,
some of these other.
CPS does too. Watch the movie These Little Ones on Rumble and have your mind blown what happened in Coeur d'Alene, Idaho with sheriffs. They'll take your kids. You better know your rights. You better know your rights.
Yeah, exactly. But they're still doing cleanup, so to
Yeah.
speak.
Hmm.
It's what we're saying, but they are saying that, finally, and I'm hearing for the very first time that, some of the people that have been offering up information, as close to information as you can get, is saying that they finally hit that threshold, the percentage of Americans that are very well aware to what is taking place right now, very up to speed on it, and are at a point where, again, arrest, arrest, arrest. So, he is saying that, uh, the initial phase of this cost for them to go over, they took the heads of the 13 families down. They're dealing with all these middle people who believe that they're in charge and really don't know what they're doing. They've lost control of the narrative out there because of the people taking control of the information. But these are families that controlled our finance, our economic, our law, and our business, big
Hmm.
sectors of where all this
Like,
corruption has been taking place. And this has now been
uh,
an ongoing process for the last 5 years of the
like
cleaning
Fellow
out.
Rock, like Fellow Rock, and those kind of names. Those
Right.
big names, like all those abandoned mansions on YouTube right now, people are tromping through. I mean, I know that happens a lot, but in the last couple of years, you're talking a lot of abandoned mansions on YouTube. Verifiable, but doesn't mean who knows. I'm listening though. I'm curious.
Right. And
I believe.
we've confirmed, as they've confirmed, as confirmed in various press releases straight from the DOD, that there is a worldwide military alliance. And he's saying that it's designed to return lawful governance to the people through the infrastructure and the systems that we currently have in place. So, in other words, he's talking about within the confines of our Constitution. Now, let's pause right there on Constitution real quick, because there's a lot of things that are being said, I guess, uh, Mr. T went out there and made a comment about uh, doing away with certain parts of a constitution, and a lot of people are interpreting that to believe that he's speaking about our current constitution. Okay, I don't know what his words was. It was a tweet or something. This is something that was blowing up yesterday
It
over
was.
the airways. But he is actually referring to the original Constitution, not the Constitution that was put in place to take away our freedoms by the deep state, okay, and
Mm.
all of those people. So there's a big miscommunication going on with him referring to the Constitution. So I just want
Yeah,
to
Devil
correct
Dog
that.
has said there's three constitutions, and I don't
Yes,
rightly know
there
which
is.
they are, but yeah, I
Uh,
know my main one a little bit better than
well,
I did, but not perfectly. You know, we're
well,
learning. We need to learn. They don't teach us anymore. You're most of these people that know this stuff are self-taught, self-governing people. That's what you want to be. You don't want to be a slave. You need to be a self-governing,
here,
self-taught
well,
individual.
right, and what Devil Dog, I haven't seen what he said, but I'm certain what he's
Mhm.
referring to is the very original Constitution, and I made a side note of it right here, as a matter of
Yeah.
fact,
Okay.
was in 1869.
Mm.
The deep state then came in 1871. That was 3 years later, and that's when they replaced it with the ones that took away uh, all of the freedoms. But I apologize. The original one was in 1776. We all know that. But they came with one in 1817. One. So what we have is 1776. Let me correct this, 1871 and then 1869. And the one that he was referring to is the 1871 Constitution. And that's the one where they took all of our freedoms away.
Mm.
So, it's important that we get back to the original one, and that's the one that T was referring to, Big
Mm.
T. So there
Mm.
was a lot to do about that in yesterday's press. Uh, but he's saying, there's a lot of talk out there. A lot of people are saying that HRC is already gone, and so and I have to tend to sign on to this because I've actually seen the same videos and so forth. But he was saying that HRC, that she was detained. A lot of people are saying when they see that video of her in the van on nine
Passed out
eleven
when
on
she
nine
passed
11,
out.
they're saying she died that day. That is not
Uh-huh.
true. What she was taken into custody
Mm.
that day. She
Mm.
wasn't really actually arrested until over a year later on November 1st, the 2017. That's when she was arrested and taken into custody. And then, of course, now, the new date is that she saw her demise on December 31st of 2018.
By
And,
lethal injection, right?
and
Or we were hung.
I don't
There's
know
all
how it
kinds of
was
rumors.
done.
They love to tell you this stuff, but it's like I want to see proof. I
Right,
want
and
to
I
see
did
proof.
see and I did see an image of that, and I didn't show it. I think I sent it to you, but I'm
Oh
not
yeah,
showing
they
it
did have
because
an image of her getting a lethal injection.
uh,
I've
uh,
got the image of it. I've got the
we
image
can't
of it.
confirm that image. It's just what's going
Yeah,
around.
I mean anybody
So,
could have did that image on a
you know,
with her
but
photo.
he's saying without a doubt that Mr. O, 44,
Mm-hmm.
that's what I call the bummer, O bummer, that he is absolutely still around. They might have taken him into custody recently. And they do have actors playing the part. Uh, but hey, Power
Hey,
Girl,
Cowgirl, good to see you.
uh, that they're that could, again, going back to what we started the show out with, somebody common to be arrested. It could come from the other side, and
Mm-hmm.
that's a potential person of interest that they might throw out there. Like they said, an arrest to shock the world.
Right, the first one
Whatever,
would
whatever the
yeah.
saying is
The
from the
first arrest would shock the world. That's the saying, right? The
Right.
first arrest will shock the world. When it's really going to be revealed, I suppose if it ever does. I don't know, you
Right.
guys. I don't know.
And he's out there saying, and again, he's putting himself out there, but not that he's putting out anything new that I haven't heard someplace else. A lot of people have, stated and have concluded that these tribunals have been taking place not only down in Guantanamo Bay, but we know of a few other islands. But as far as here in the United States, they're saying at the White House there's been tribunals taking place. Now we've seen different activity, live activity over there with unmarked buses with blacked out windows. We haven't seen who's on the buses, what are they for, what event is taking place. Unconfirmed. All of that is unconfirmed. Hey Bonnie.
I've watched some boots on the ground and I've watched the White House cam, and many of our viewers here I know have seen the night. There was purple lighting and shadows, and it looked like people were hanging in those shadows. I have those photos.
Right.
And I've watched stuff at the White House, very unusual things happening for the last year and a half. I've streamed on it, I've taken video, I've got pictures. I should do a blog about all the weird things. One of these days, you're living in history. Whatever was going on there, not normal. Don't have sort of an idea. You had Mustang Medic, you had Nancy Drew, and you had Penguin X, and Nancy Drew seemed to be about the only trustworthy source that I felt. And she stayed on it to the end. The last drop from her was unbelievable. She shared all kinds of stuff that she could not share before. But in the last 2 weeks, you say there's not a lot going on, but on the back channels, there's a ton going on. Mainstream is just like acting like nothing's going on. Birds, cows, sheep, and stuff's going in circles, but nothing to see here, folks.
No,
Everything's
nothing.
normal.
Nothing at all. So, and like you said, we don't know. What we know is that it's not normal activity. Now,
No.
look, I'll put myself out there. I've said all along, I stand with the Law of War Manual. I believe that there are legal reasons why DC was fenced off. There's been plenty of debate over the fencing. We all contend that is not even part of the United States of America soil.
Says it on
Uh,
Wikipedia. Go look up
yeah,
Washington, D.C. It's a 10-mile
exactly.
radius of three freaking buildings. We're
I
four
am
neighbors.
a I do, and again, my own personal opinion. Let me be clear on that. That they have been vacated. That there's legal reasons why they can't step foot in there for any official business.
Mm.
Uh, so, we'll see how history writes itself here. But I think a lot of what we're talking about has been proven. There's enough evidence out there in the open source, in the general public, if you really want to find the truth. And I think we'll find uh, that in that respect, that there's probably a lot of people who are, if you're following the Law of War Manual, which we all know everything comes down to the court system, whether it's going to be a civil court system or the military court system. And I think all of us, uh, uh, people who have analyzed this just on a much for a longer time period and maybe on a higher level than others, know that we are dealing with the military justice system here.
Let me read a
And
comment. Yeah, go ahead. Finish. Sorry, I thought you were.
military law, and it's completely different than what we're accustomed to seeing out there. And if you
Right.
don't believe things were headed in that direction, go back and watch some of these confirmation hearings for the Supreme Court judges and how they were all questioned on military law before votes were cast and they were voted on. I mean, if you're paying attention and you're watching what the people in authority are saying
Right.
and what they're doing, and you're tracking it like hundreds of million, hundreds of thousands of people are at this point. These people's actions, you're it's proof in itself. We're
Yeah.
watching it happen in
Yeah.
front of our eyes. We're watching it all come to pass. So he's saying, to make a long story short, that the entrenchment, the infiltration, it's very deep and it's
Very deep.
worldwide. All of this, again, we've been saying this for months, that this would take time. This is massive. It's beyond the consciousness of what we all could even imagine has been happening, not only in this country, but in countries around the world. This is a worldwide alliance for a worldwide takedown of bad operators. Okay. The general publics of civilizations at large are not responsible.
Mhm.
Americans aren't responsible. Jewish people aren't responsible. Chinese people aren't responsible.
Right.
Taiwanese people are not responsible.
Sinful
The
people
general
are
public,
responsible.
these
Sinful people.
the
Sinful
people
people.
who have been in control and authority, they're responsible.
Yeah.
They're complicit. They're the ones that have been doing these actions. So it's
Mhm.
important that we, the people of all nationalities, of all countries, that at this time we come together, and if we
Mhm.
spread a narrative, let that be the number one narrative, to be standing in peace and unity, because that's our platform here at the Liberty Cowgirl Network.
That's right.
And we're going to
Stand
continue.
with us. Stand with us. We welcome everyone. You want to help our country? We welcome you. We will not tell you, you can't do this or that. Like we have to work together. Well, let me read a point here. All First Kingdom said, Mr. Potato Head, which is the P Biden, has a fence around his residence now too. A friend of mine lives in Delaware and has seen it. Oh,
Wow. See, that's powerful.
okay.
This is why we
That's
have these
me.
channels. We're getting real information in real time from boots on the ground and people that are
Still
there to do.
hearsay. Don't see a video. Still hearsay, but that's
Right.
very possible. This is a good source. This is not a lying friend. This is an honest friend who loves Jesus and wouldn't want to tell me a lie. That's my source. Power Girl in the house. Did you get your video done? Because at the end, maybe we'll be able to. I don't know if we can. We can't do screen shares on this. We'll do a promo later, you and me, because right now we're just going to muscle through all this, and that's not something she's doing yet. So yeah,
Okay.
we'll
So,
wait
uh,
till
I was trying to capture where I was at.
wrapping
Oh,
up your
along
wrapping up
those lines of
your
information, because that is the
Mhm.
theme of the day here,
Yeah,
is misinformation and
that's
disinformation.
right.
That goes along with what we're seeing in Colorado, and this is
Hmm.
huge.
Yeah.
Okay. And what I'm talking about, and let me get this so I get it right. We're seeing, and it's being reported everywhere, but there were actually ceremonies that took place here in my hometown yesterday, where the military
Hmm.
transferred, all communications authority of the army was transferred under one command to Space Force. And I want to get to exactly what battalion I'm speaking of here. Um,
Space Force took over the army. Is that what you're saying?
yeah, the only the communications
Right, the communications. Okay.
part of it,
Right.
but they
Hmm. Interesting, huh?
hold on
Hmm.
a second. Let me get. Um,
Well, Space Force also took over something you
they took
reported.
over the satellite comms, but the
Right.
53rd Battalion, Signal Battalion, that's important. Uh,
Mhm.
uh, has now been deactivated. They had a ceremony yesterday. They were activated initially. This is a big deal in 1927. So it has now all been turned over to Space Force. And all of those people, of course, didn't lose their jobs. They're all being transferred also
Okay.
over in to this area. But that's important because if we
Ah,
rewind our clock back, which we're famous for doing, we've always talked about the satellite that was launched last January
mm,
by the military, which would enable them to do the EAS, which most people are identifying as EBS.
mm-hmm.
Same kind of deal, just different satellite. The EAS is the emergency alert system, but this allows the military to put out an emergency broadcast message not only domestically but worldwide, if need
Oh
be.
yes.
So
Mm,
them transferring that back to our point, and that this battalion being dissolved in the army and transferred over to Space Force, to me confirms the authenticity and the uh, uh, securing of our communications out
mm,
of nefarious hands,
yeah.
and into the hands of the American people, in to our good military, the United States Space
That'd be
Force.
good. That'd
So
be
I
good.
see that as a good indicator
I would
of
hope
things
to
we're
see it.
done, that are to come. So to me, that moves us closer to. We don't know when that EAS, EBS, however people are referring to it. I don't want to debate it. I've got a screenshot. They're going to call it EAS here in my hometown. They've already tested the
You've had
system.
a couple. You've had a couple.
Yeah,
Yeah.
we've had more than a few, and it's come
Yeah.
across EAS.
Yeah.
Uh, so that to me is valid comms right there.
That
And
made someone in your immediate network go, huh? Yeah, I guess you
right,
were right.
right.
Right? They were like,
And
ah, okay, she knows some things. Girl knows some
uh,
things.
then we seen this the power knocked out to thousands of people uh, in North
North
Carolina. And
Carolina.
that is sabotage. They're calling it sabotage. It's well, they're calling it a criminal act. Let me be precise.
Hmm.
Uh, so these are targeted and intentional things that are taking place on
Hmm.
the battlefield by the belligerent occupiers that are running our country. And I'm going to stay with that. That's what they are.
Yep.
Everybody go to the law of war manual. These people are belligerent occupiers. It's important that we legally know what's happening, because when you do educate yourself about what's legally happening, then it's easier for you to understand about what is happening. And as we see these events transpire, it's easy to uh, discern what's real and what's not real. Do you want to real quick pause and read what All for His Kingdom is
Sure.
saying?
Yeah, she said, because I was saying she's the one that mentioned about the fence being around, number 40, whatever he is. What do we call him? Potato Head. And I said, that's obviously just still hearsay, but she wants to tell me about her friend. She spoke with him yesterday and was taking notes. This friend in Delaware, brother worked for the State Department, served in Afghanistan, and was the ambassador of Gabon, Africa. Her family was part of the World Bank too. So she's showing, trying to offer more credibility to her source as well. And this is all we can do with the information that we're all getting. And the more that you all get in the game with it and share with the people you trust, the better. So thank you for that. Appreciate that.
Yeah, absolutely. And email us anything that might be out
Yeah,
there that we
emails
need
on the
to take a
screen,
look
you guys. We'll help
at.
report.
LibertyCowgirl77 at
Yep.
gmail.com. It's on the ticker.
Yep.
So, those are just, more than a few updates that are going on. But, we also got everybody talking about Pelosi. And, again, the
Mostly her
theme of
husband, but yeah.
right.
But once in a while, her too now. So
The theme of the day is, information, misinformation, disinformation, and
yeah, yeah.
what really might and might not be happening. And, of course, after the last video we all saw, there was a lot of speculation and analyzing of that short clip, uh, uh, and um, the majority of the people were saying she was actually being taken back into custody because she broke a plea deal that she had previously made when she was in custody. And we all saw her a few months back when she was attending that inauguration, or wherever we saw the marshals walking next to her with the badges. We all seen
Yes.
that famous clip that went viral.
Yes.
She
Yes.
made a deal then, supposedly. The most recent one we saw is her coming out of the garage. People saying she
Mhm.
broke that agreement. She was being taken back into custody. But yeah, I turned on my live box this morning, and the first thing we see is her handing out awards at some ceremony someplace. I don't know. I didn't get the whole thing. I just happened to glance at it. But what we do have coming out
Oh gosh.
is
You never know. You never know.
yeah, let me just add to that is
Okay.
information out of Gitmo, uh, that Vice Admiral Darce Crandall, who was holding some of these tribunals down there under the direction of General Berger, who we keep up to date with through Michael Baxter. It's important I mention all these people's names. Is telling us something different. And here's the update that they have on Miss Pelosi as of
Read that. I'm just gonna get a drink of water. Go ahead and keep reading that.
yeah, as of December 2nd. Uh, they're saying that United States Navy Judge Advocate General Coors filed formal charges against former House Speaker Nancy Pelosi, who was arrested Thursday night, which then would have been December 1st, after attending this big uh, gala that Potato Head, I think, hosted while the Prince and Princess was over here. I think that's the state banquet that they put on, this fake state banquet that was put on in Georgia, of all places,
Huh.
at Tyler Perry Studios.
Oh
Uh,
yeah.
yeah, evidently, they're saying after attending that party, she was then apprehended on her way to Hartsfield Jackson Airport in Atlanta.
Hmm.
They then brought her to a safe house to sober her up before she went down to Guantanamo Bay. And again, this is allegedly, this is what's being reported. And that at that time, her blood alcohol content was 0.47%. Uh,
Damn.
they felt it was a life threatening situation. And that's
I'm
why
saying,
they,
did she kind
uh,
of drown herself to death with alcohol? My
yeah.
goodness.
So I guess after she sobered up, they showed her the arrest warrant, and off to Gitmo she went. Uh, so that's what we have, uh, contrasting everything else that's out there. Now, let me just
Yeah.
quickly uh, uh, come behind that with her husband.
Yeah.
Supposedly, her husband already had his, and I have the specific date down in Gitmo, but yet they came out this weekend on the mainstream with this whole Kennedy Center honors. Okay. Remember, I made a point of saying
Oh yeah.
good side, bad side of Kennedy's. There's two different groups operating with that one too, because these Kennedy Center honors, they're giving awards out to what we all know are Luciferian people. Let's just say it.
Yeah. Right.
Uh,
Satan.
and all the people going through their ceremony. And the thing
Yeah.
that's most disturbing about that is, and this should upset a lot of people, go back and check when the CARES Act was first passed. In that package, how much money was given to the Smithsonian, the Kennedy Center that hosts these awards, okay, and
Yeah.
other places that are
Mhm.
out there. So the American people are actually paying for this nonsense. They're putting on an award, again, in your face type of stuff,
Yeah. Because
with
they're
people.
infiltrators of the highest kind. They steal our money and give it to other countries. If you haven't seen that yet with XTF backwards and Ukraine, then you're an idiot. Sorry to
Right.
say, they embezzle our money. They're foreign entity. It's all in your face. She's absolutely
And
right.
everything they do to the American people, we actually pay for it, and they laugh at that.
Everything.
So my point is, her husband is also supposed to be down in Gitmo, okay, cooperating, but yet they're showing this guy on television with a hat on and
Right.
a glove because he was hurt, he was beat in his, what they're saying, there's all kinds of stories. How, I don't even know how these people have the audacity to get on national television and show their faces, with all this going on in the background, and actually expect people are buying into this.
Well, the
It's
only thing
really
that makes
disgusting.
sense, well, okay, but we'll just, for those that don't get it, the only thing that makes sense is when you have such key, I have an echo for some reason. You have such key player individuals, such as these people, HRC, Pelosi, Newsom. It's a lot easier to just send someone out with a mask on to keep them doing what they're supposed to be doing than to be like, oh, they're dead or oh, they're arrested. Especially if you're trying to uh, fulfill a narrative, fulfill misinformation, blah blah blah. Yeah, funneling money through the arts, same as here in Humboldt. They, of course, they use the arts and all the good program. All the homeless, you care about the homeless. Well, after 30 years of watching it get worse on the streets, I think you're full of crap. You don't care about anybody but your own pocketbook anymore. They're
Right.
just all frauds. So many of them are just, they say one thing, they get a little bit of money, they do a little bit of thing. I don't know. It's just, it gets exhausting trying to explain their little game.
Well,
Because,
and
oh,
Pinnacle Productions made that point about the art. You're right. How many of us see art out there for millions and millions of dollars and go, really?
yeah.
It's like somebody took a brush and really. Oh,
Well, we
all
have
right.
some good
Whatever
artists.
you say.
Okay. We have some
Okay,
good artists in Humboldt County. I got to
money
say, our
laundering
art here,
operations.
yeah, our art
Money
here is
laundering
exceptional.
operations. And
Yeah.
okay, so speaking of movies, so arrests. We are getting reports for Mortal Man Productions being reported out of the uh, uh, by Dobie Tejas, that Hollywood producer Eli Roth was also arrested after this gala. I have a feeling more than a few people were taken into custody after this fake gala here in Atlanta. These are only
Okay.
two that we know of, and these are two
Mhm.
big ones. Now, this is a guy
Yeah.
that produced that movie Hostel, and I never saw the movie myself, but a
Yeah.
lot of people have brought that movie to my attention as being very awful. And we know, they young people are, and men are actually bid on by elite people, is the uh, meaning of this movie, and terrible things happen to them. Uh,
Yeah.
and they are saying that in a lot of these films that he did, because I guess he was in Maniacs and Cabin Fever, and he also had a hand in The Green Mile. But they're saying that
Mhm.
what he put on film is a lot of what he practiced.
Ugh.
And I never saw that movie Hostel, but I don't want to see it. I've
Me
heard
neither.
from
I
a
won't
lot
watch
of people that did, that got very disturbed by watching that movie. We'll see what happens, but uh,
He was arrested.
he was arrested and taken down to Gitmo.
There's a lot of headlines out of Georgia the last week. Just weird
Yeah,
little, yeah.
and this also came from that same gala that we heard that uh, Nancy Pelosi was taken into custody on her way to Atlanta Airport,
Well, you're probably right then. Yeah.
uh, and so forth.
And it
Uh,
makes sense to you guys. It makes sense that as if this were really happening, if the swamp were really getting drained, and you're picking out people, you couldn't possibly get away with arresting them, just having them there be a great open gap, hole, wide open hole. They have a part to play. That's why I always suspect that it's got to be a white hat playing that potato head, making him look as dumb as he is, because I could never imagine. I mean, I'm serious about that, but then again, I don't know. It doesn't make sense to me to have someone that idiotic at the podium would you really let somebody, why wouldn't you replace somebody without a brain? Put him, he's had blue eyes, he's had brown eyes. That is not the B that we knew from the past, because if you look at the photo when he got his injection, the real one had a tattoo on his arm. Okay, so whatever you want to think, 90% of the artifacts, All for His Kingdom said, all 90% of the artifacts and items at the Smithsonian are low level, distorted history. They put all the real good historical artifacts away, out of eyesight and display. They are hidden. That's true. That's
Right, right. And I was just seeing it. Oh, there we go. I
not
was
him
trying
at
to get
all.
her highlighted.
National security measures. Yep. Yep. Not him
Yeah.
at all. It's not him at
So,
all. Yeah.
one
So,
other interesting thing that came out too, we're talking about Dobie Tejas reporting all of this, but uh, evidently General Berger, and we give a lot of credit to him, has acknowledged that and is saying to other people, he realizes other people feel differently. This is just his view. And again, this is allegedly, uh, that he's saying DeSantis is controlled opposition.
mm.
So, a lot of us have been saying that all along.
Yes. Yes.
Uh, I have actually said on previous streams, I think that's an actor. I don't really believe that that's the original in what's going on. Again, we'll find out. We can
Yeah,
only
from the beginning, I remember some friends telling me that they didn't trust him. They were saying it as he was getting a lot of accolades for doing what he did in Florida. Before that all happened, a pastor was arrested, and actually, I'll have you know that Florida and one other state, I can't remember which one, is actually more poised for concentration camps and more poised with the legislation that he has signed and passed. They are in more danger than they think they are in Florida. That's what I've heard. So you never can assume anybody. Look, South Dakota Governor Kristi Noem, she was better than DeSantis. Let's get real. Let's get real. She rocked the states. Kristi Noem, you were my freaking hero during 2020. I went to your state, baby, for the 4th of July. That's where I got this hat from. Yes. Which crazy horse? Oh, yeah. Yeah. One governor, and she was a woman, and she kept her state open. Don't ever forget that, people. She deserves accolades every day for having the balls other men didn't have during that time. Christy, no,
right.
you
And
rock.
we're actually creating a program. We're going to hand out some awards to people. These people are
Real
so
Mama
good
Tia
about giving
hat.
themselves
Yeah,
awards. We need to
yeah,
reward some of these freedom fighters.
that's right. Mama Tia's
But
getting a
the gist of the report is that uh, special forces have went to Switzerland to take out the
hat.
big globalists
Yeah.
allegedly, and all of this is
Oh,
taking
yeah.
place.
I remember that whole.
We know there's a lot of strange happenings right now. We know we have major volcano eruptions in Hawaii, Indonesia, and Italy, which is leading a lot of people to
Yes.
speculate about Yellowstone and
Right.
what might occur there. But an interesting fact to put out there, in the midst of all of this,
Yeah.
57 in the last 30 days, 57 people who were connected to HRC and the C Foundation,
Mm-hmm.
okay, have died
Eat so quiet.
in the
Oh,
last
what?
3 days. Yeah,
What? In
yeah.
3 days? No.
So, what is happening to all of these people?
You want to eat your food?
Uh,
Yeah. Go ahead.
and of course, we've got the big push for the tax returns. They can't help themselves there. I mean, if these people didn't come up with most of this ridiculousness to
Mm-hmm.
air, they would literally not even have an evening broadcast anymore. They would not have nothing to talk about. They would
Right.
not have nothing to get the sleepers riled up with.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Uh, it's crazy. the mainstream media needs to be shut down. At what point in this operation does the military shut them down? I feel with the transfer of these communications that is somewhere in our near future. I do feel good about that.
Yeah.
And let's hope that's the case.
I
A
would
good,
hope so too. Yeah. All
you
First
know,
Kingdom says it's ironic. There's a show called The Masked Singer. I never watch it, but come on, people. Earlobes are do not become unattached if you're born with them. Attached, they may sag, but they do not change from being attached earlobes.
right,
Good point.
and I think it was Adobe that put out there, and I just want to, and I just thought it was great that this is the roughest time that we'll ever have to go through, economically, financially,
Mhm.
mentally, spiritually, physically, emotionally. So
That's a
you
big
know it's
prediction.
important,
That's
right?
a big prediction to make. I mean,
That's exactly
better
what's
back it up, baby.
right.
Yeah.
So we need to be conscious of our surroundings, be conscious of discerning the news and the information that we're getting on the mainstream media television sets in our living room, as opposed, and then please, if I were to implore people to do anything, is please, if you're going to watch mainstream television news and believe everything that they've got to say, start fact checking it. Get on then the internet and start checking what they're telling you and see and verify if what they're telling you is true, because I think you might be pleasantly surprised. Uh, and I'm going to keep encouraging people who are not woke all the way.
Yeah. Yeah.
We can't be mad at these individuals.
Nope.
Everybody's on a different path
I'm not mad
at
at
a
him
different
anymore.
time.
I'm not
Uh,
mad at y'all anymore. No, just kidding. We all get mad sometimes. We all get mad, and just what we do in our family sometimes when it's a stressful situation is we'll have to say in the heat of the moment sometimes to our people, and I've gotten really good at this. I'm not mad at you. I'm mad at the situation because sometimes we're just edgy and we take it out on each other. Like I was saying earlier, with people that have physical pain, that's what grace is for. We have to have grace for people. Everyone is suffering. Everyone's been lied to. We don't like betrayal. Betrayal hurts a lot. And we've all been betrayed by our government and these people that do not care about our freedom, and it's a hard thing, but we're dealing with it. We're dealing with it the best. We just assume everybody, give the benefit of the doubt. Don't assume, that's the worst one, but I give the benefit of the doubt more now than I did before with people, because I, like you said in the very beginning, everyone's coming to this at different stages. So yeah, it's important that we, you mad bro, hey Paulie, there you are.
hey, Paul Hardwick. Well, listen, it is. It's a difficult time. This is when, everybody that's been around for a long time really has to extend grace, help people find the information that they need if they're confused. Not to go over. This is not a debate with one another. Uh, this is about finding the truth and finding accurate information. Like I said several times in the past, people have this image in their mind and this stereotype that uh, in a war, we're going to see tanks, we're going to see military people all over the street, everything they see in movies. And that's not what we're dealing with here. Uh, Silent weapons for silent wars. And, the big T guy, he has said the word invisible enemy a gazillion times. And but not for that phrase, a lot of people would not have went looking to see what is he talking about. Who is he referring to? So, we've just got to have grace for one another. Know that things are happening in the background. Uh, we all know that. I think it's just crazy to believe that absolutely nothing is true. None of this is
Nothing is
happening. We're
true.
still living
Nothing
in,
is happening.
yeah, that's just not
Oh,
the case. We
all
need
for
to,
his kingdom. Says Allie is live talking about Christianity versus Colorado. So we might want to watch that later. Have you seen that Allie Beth Stuckey that I've been featuring? Maybe you've seen her before too.
right. And again, they're putting all these things
Hi,
out there.
Camo.
I purposefully didn't talk about this whole uh, Supreme Court thing with this
Mm,
LGBTQ
yeah.
case here in Colorado because you know what? I'm not going to give it my airtime. I'm just
Yep.
not.
You all know
Uh,
how we feel about that. We've prayed for the victims. We gave their names. We support everyone's right to choose their lifestyle, their path.
that's right. And
Um,
I was speaking of the court case too, and on top of those
mhm,
people, out of respect for them, uh, you know, LGBTQ people are very smart. They'll figure out themselves that they're
they
being set
will.
up and used
Yep.
to try and create division. And
Right.
I think we heard on one of your shows that you broadcast uh, when they had the uh, county commission meeting over there.
Yes.
We saw a trans person come out and say, "We're devastated at what you people are doing to our movement."
Yep.
Right? We
Right.
heard straight
Yes.
from somebody. So
And
I'm
that
not going to engage in any of that conversation.
not
To
right
me,
now.
it's taking that community backwards.
Yes, it is.
Right?
They're being used as a shield for drag shows for all ages, and that's where everybody that has a normal brain gets behind it. There's lots of videos coming out with people. So yeah, like you didn't want to talk about it right now. We'll talk about it when you're ready. It's a very look. They're just traumatized there, and now you can see that they're using it politically, and that's why it's so upsetting. And we can't even go there with it because they use people, they destroy people's lives for their narrative, and that's what it's about right now. That's why we'll have
Right.
to talk about it later because it's just too upsetting. It's
Right.
just too
Hi,
upsetting.
Camo.
Yeah,
And if some of the people, before we end the broadcast,
yeah.
will stick around so I can hand out some wrenches, don't leave. Don't leave. So, we're going to get to more stuff. Again, we have a plethora of stuff. I just wanted to get on the main things that were going on out there,
It was a
during
good
this
show.
hour.
Good report.
We're about an hour 15 in now, but we hope
Mm-hmm.
to get the ladies together so we can do a Liberty Lounge on Thursday,
Yeah.
hopefully,
Mama
and get
T.
a panel together so we can see and have
T.
everybody weigh in on some of these things we talked about. We have this other big Supreme Court case that we talked about last week
Yes,
on this
Bronson.
show, and
Bronson.
everybody has picked up on this week with the Brunson brothers.
Bronson.
And the questions out there that we're posing as well as others is, uh, will the SCOTUS act or won't they act on this
Mm,
case? The fact that it's up for consideration is going to speak volumes.
yep.
And if they don't act by the end of the year, uh, will it have the same impact? And will they, in fact, then they themselves be complicit in
Right.
this whole operation that's going on?
Can I
And
ask you? You haven't seen a single Supreme Court justice in the last year, have you? Because I sure haven't.
well, no,
Not
they're not
one.
showing them in person. They're only showing you, images. We all believe the images. As long as they're coming over our TV, we believe them.
We
Not,
don't. Our viewers
not
don't.
right. So,
Yeah.
the whole reason why that case is being brought, people cannot forget, is that Congress failed in their duties to protect the American
Damn
people
right.
from an
Damn right.
attack by a foreign entity.
It's not
Okay.
that complicated.
Uh, in regard to our big contest in 2020. It's not
Yep.
about Mr. T anymore. It's about our rights. It could have
Yep.
been him or anybody else, and it'll
Yep.
be him or anybody else in the future that this can happen to. So people really got to get dialed into the legal aspects of what's happening here and rewind a little bit. The case is about, if this case goes forward in the Supreme Court, do you realize we will no longer have a Congress? Okay,
Yeah,
they will
yeah.
all be
Good.
gone.
Bye. Don't let
So,
the door kick you on the way out.
right, this is huge. This
Yeah.
is major. So,
388 congressmen.
uh,
Yeah.
they're at a
Mhm.
crossroads.
Yeah.
The Supreme Court. Okay, they
That's right.
either act or they don't, and
That's right.
one action or the other is going to speak volumes
Hmm.
about what's about to come.
That's right.
Uh, so we're
It's
following
pretty
all that stuff.
exciting. I'm pretty excited about that case. I mean, if there wasn't a case from the people, this is not a lawyer case or a, yeah, this is three brothers. You've reported on it the last, go back and watch our last show. Didn't we report all on that on the
Right,
last?
we did.
Yeah.
Yes.
It's exciting, you
Uh,
guys.
and of course, let's give all the people who follow biblical things something cute. All those brothers, coincidentally, and I'm hearing that there's four now, not three. I heard there was three, but some are
Yeah.
saying four. But what we
Okay.
do know is this, and there's film of it on the internet. You can fact check this. They're all trumpet players. Touche.
Whoa. That is a fun factoid. I like it. I love a musician. Love me some musicians.
Right.
They bring
So,
happiness and vibration, good vibrations.
and then to end this, there's a lot of those theories out there about what way are they going to what route are they going to take to get Mr. T back in office if the Supreme Court does take up this case and everything in the past is
Got to be the people. It
found
has to
as
be
it
the
would be.
people. Yeah.
But I'll make an interesting thing. According to General Berger,
Hmm.
uh, he had a choice, Mr. T. They
Did
could
he?
either reinstall him or he could be reelected. Both of those scenarios are out there. And allegedly, according to these sources, Mr. T chose the reelection route to have the people to reelect him in a whole total reelection. Now, anybody who just wanted to be in there would say, just reinstall me, reinstall me. No, he
Hmm.
wants a fair, by the book, according to the people, by the people, for the people. So
Yeah.
I find that quite admirable.
We'll see.
A
Yeah.
very interesting piece of information.
I could see that. Yeah. I could see that. I
Uh,
don't go where I'm not welcome.
Right. So let me give out a few wrenches here. What can you go to chat and Cowgirl D and read all for his kingdom?
Sure. She said, be vigilant in prayer and get on your knees. Repent of your sins. He is a loving, forgiving Father, desires to have a relationship with you, but it is a choice, free will. Prepare for Jesus' return now. Yeah, Jesus is coming back, people. Jesus is coming back. And there's a lot of us who testify. We are witnesses of it. I know it's hard for a lot of people to believe because we understand all the reasons. I got an echo. Oh, because you got to turn off your volume in YouTube. Just turn off your volume in YouTube. I know it's hard for a lot of people to believe because it's hard for her to see. Who's pissed? Who are you talking to, Polly? Are you talking to me? You mad, bro? I don't know who he's talking to. Do I look mad to you? I'm not mad. You're behind. I think you're behind on the stream or something because we're getting off and I'm really happy right now. So I don't know what you're talking about, but yeah, be vigilant. Let me say a prayer while we're waiting for Liberty to give some wrenches out. God, I thank you for my girlfriend here, for her desire to help her community of Colorado and our country, America. Thank you for her desire to share the truth, to vet the information, and to be graceful and to bring about peace and unity among people. Thank you so much for all of our viewers here, our subscribers, our YouTube family. I pray you protect them all, keep them healthy, keep them safe, and especially lift up Wyatt to you, Chuck's boy, and their family, Lord. Just bring healing to people that are sick right now and in pain. We believe, God, help our unbelief. In Jesus' name, amen.
Amen.
Jen, well, there you are. It's about time. I haven't seen you all day, Jen. I love ya. Mwah. Oh yeah, I don't know what's gonna go on tonight. Tonight's Tuesday. Look, Power Girl's going on Fridays at 5 is gonna be her time slot. I told her she's cutting into Salty Cracker, but I would leave. I would watch her. I would be more excited to watch a local girl than Salty Cracker. I mean, that's where we got to be at. What Salty Cracker going to do for Humboldt? Not what Christina's going to do, right? I mean, so there's a lot of distractions out there. A lot of these reports. This is a faith builder for us to know that there are people that are doing things to try to help us right now, and
Hi, Jen.
we need to know that there are arrests happening. There are laws that are being utilized, right? People are take, but it's our job. We have to take them to task. Like when there's crooked judges in the courtroom, how do you think we get rid of them? You have to expose them. It sucks doing it, but this is the process. It's a great process. We cannot be afraid. When you have the spirit of God and boldness all over you, you will do what you need to do. And the yoke is easy and the burden is light. I'm not really pushed out of my comfort zone so much, just a little bit at times. I do what's natural to me. What my talents are that God gave me. He's not going to have you to do the same things. If you're looking at what we're doing and going, I can't do that, you'd be terrified. Then that's probably not what you're supposed to do. But you're probably supposed to get behind somebody and support them by prayer. Maybe you can help somebody that needs help. We're going to do a crowdsource funding for Brock Maddox in Wisconsin, and we're looking for the people with money that want to help the people that are fighting. That's where we're at. We're not into grifting. We'll point you to who needs help. That's what we can do. We got to do it, you
Well,
guys. We got to help the country right now.
right, and it's just important that people keep tuning in and support podcast broadcasters everywhere.
Yeah,
If you like them, you need to support them.
yeah,
And I support many, like you support many. It's
yep,
important that we're supporting one another, and you know, in the financial realm, and we'll discuss this on the next go round. We've run out of time for today. We're going up on an hour 30, but we need to get to some of this stuff in the financial realm. We had this whole thing with the FTX
yeah.
and the cryptos that are coming out of that, but
Uh-huh.
what people aren't talking about is Tremor. And if everybody wants to look up Tremor uh, crypto, uh, that's all the proof that we need with regard to Junior and his father, Mr. Potato, because all
Ooh,
the money
got some
laundering
homework, y'all.
was being
Some
done through,
homework.
and I'll leave you that with as a teaser, was being done through Tremor
Um,
and their own cryptocurrency organization.
TREMOR.
Uh, I think it's TREMER. Hold on, let me get
MER.
Army Mama. Hold on
All
one
right.
moment.
I love those teasers. I told people look up Rabbit Hatch, Kentucky, but I don't know if anybody did. Look up the mayor of Rabbit Hatch, Kentucky. Who know? I know Jen knows who it is. That's a fun little secret among constitutionalist people. You look up Rabbit Hatch, Kentucky, and who the mayor is, and if you're wondering how that could be possible that that's a mayor, why then you need to understand your constitution does work, and the people of that town made it work for them. It's a small town, but it's doable. Okay, it's doable. So TREMER, or did you find it? You might be looking for it. Yeah, there's no doubt they were dirty. And also, there's pictures surfacing of his back tattoo, the Finger Lakes. There's connections there. You can go find them yourself. Nobody should have to spell it out for you.
Right.
I mean, it's very, very in your face there what the Finger Lakes and that tattoo on that person's back means. I just could hear Tin's voice. Should have paid your baby mama. Baby mama. He has
Well,
a con.
listen, we haven't even, and we didn't even get to touch on what's going on, with all of these uh, how do I want to call it? Atmospheric changes, we'll call them. Another
Right.
clever word
Environmental. Yeah, yeah.
out of the Liberty Cowgirl dictionary of
Right.
the
Oh,
things
good
we left
one.
here.
Someone's gonna do that. They're gonna put out a YouTube dictionary or something, you know.
Right.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of that going on. That's why I believe people are sick, really sick everywhere. They're just with this stuff from the wow, those are some big ones out there today over Neyland. Yeah,
So
very
I guess we'll wrap it up there,
yeah.
and we'll tease it with everybody needs to turn in and to watch your show. Stand Up Humboldt 2 or Stand Up Humboldt 4. What channel you
We're
on,
on
D?
two right now. I'm on two right now. So stand up humble two. If Bonnie isn't feeling better tonight, I'm thinking maybe we'll do an if table and I'll stream that I got a couple streams in mind. Maybe Power Girl, if she ever wants to get on. Look, if anybody ever wants to get on, share a story, share your story, stream about something, I'm down for it. You know me, I'm always ready to fire it up and have a chat with you guys. I live in the sticks, okay? I talk to animals all day. I actually enjoy talking to people sometimes. So, yeah, I'm
We
always
want
ready.
everyone to remember to hit the like button, subscribe,
Yep,
hit the bell for notifications when we go live.
yep.
Uh, Subscribe to Stand Up Humboldt 2, Stand Up Humboldt 4, Power Girl
Here
Production
we
at
go.
Keeper of the Flame,
Listen up.
uh, and Tin TV, and
Bonnie's. Bonnie's.
Bonnie's. Kick back and stay a while at Bonnie's.
That's right.
And who
Gonna
else
talk
did we
to
miss? Everybody.
Texas views, Texas POV with
Elaine.
Chuck.
What's Elaine's
Uh,
channel?
Elaine's is Wellness Patriot. If you guys could drop Chuck's channel, if you guys could drop any channels, I'm gonna get me a Word document set up where I can copy and paste. I think the Good Wrench people do that. I think they have a Word document right there, and they're just like. Speaking of copy and pasting. But we have a lot of. Who else do we support? We love to support. There's so many people that are trying really hard right now to just unite. And so those are who we support. We go hang out with them sometimes in the evening. If you want to talk to me, Proud Army Mom,
Can
uh,
you, D? Can you talk
yeah,
about the Hug Your Flag for Peace and Unity
yeah, let
campaign?
me talk about the
Well, I
campaign.
switched screens for 1 second. I want to give before we end the show. I want to give Proud Army Mom a wrench.
Okay, and also Proud Army Mom, you can email me at Diana, Dianna, at creationsbest.net, and I will give you my phone number and you could call me. Yeah, so the Hug Your Flag campaign, if you go to standuphumboldt.news, we have under Fresh Press, there's a Liberty Cowgirl page. And so we actually have the Hug Your Flag campaign on there. Oh, you want to mute your sound on YouTube. And then also we've got Mama T on there, and I'm going to get her interview up on there. We've got Creation's Best on there. But if you have a picture of yourself hugging your flag, we'd like to see you email it in so we can get it on the website. We're going to have a Facebook or a social media challenge, and we'll be giving away some fun stuff, which I learned on Tin's show how you can get StreamYard to do a whole did you see that Tin did? Cindy won something because Stephanie was giving away some essential oils to people, and they do a hashtag and then they get thrown into a thing, and then Tin hit a number and the computer generated the winner. So we're totally doing that, you guys. We're totally copying Tin TV for that one because the best compliment is a copycat, right? And she loves it. So we want to give away stuff. You guys know we give away stuff to our family that is in need. We've done it with all kinds of different things, medicine, different things we can't. Well, I shouldn't have said the word, but different things that we are all into, different things, and we'll pray for you. And there's just a good community here. So we're trying to support each other the best we can. Thank you all for his kingdom. She dropped Chuck's on there. Bonnie's probably too sick to go on tonight. So, but if you can't find a chat room to be in, go watch something positive for yourself. Don't just stay in the news all the time. Like All for His Kingdom said, watch Pastor Arthur. You won't regret it. We've got a lot of good sources. There, you need to fill up sometimes. You can't just take all this all the time. You have to unplug, fill your spirit up. It's a battle. It's a
Put up
battle.
your Christmas tree, put up your lights, get in the spirit, and enjoy your families. Uh, Everybody, of course, we as we always say, never give up, never give in,
Yep.
never back down.
That's right.
Keep the love, keep the hope, keep the faith,
And Brock would say, keep the fight for freedom alive. That's what Brock
and
says.
keep the
Keep the
fight
fight
for
for
freedom
freedom alive.
alive. We'll
Yeah.
see everybody on the
Love
next
you
one.
guys. Thank you for
Good night,
stopping in.
everybody.
Bye. See you next time. Thank you for your support. We love you.
Thank you, everyone.
Not going live.